This is going to be one of the biggest turning points in history. Tylenol, the discovery of Tylenol, it's interesting because I hadn't really heard much about Tylenol. I'd heard all about the vaccines for years and years and years, mainly because I had my own experience with Lyme disease and mold, and then I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure it out, and in that I became who I am today, and I learned so much about the corruption of the health industry and the lies and the lack of understanding, the lack of studies. Anytime there is a true study or true information coming out, then people are silenced. And now we have this information about Tylenol. And also, just to note, it's just so interesting. People are still making it about sides when the study itself was conducted by Harvard that found out the information that Tylenol could be causing autism. And then they're also canceling the mRNA vaccine for COVID, not because they found that it was dangerous from what I saw, but just because they found that it was ineffective to the new variants, and the vaccine was causing new variants to be created. So I was harassed. I'm sure a lot of you were, for personally not getting the vaccine, because I had my own experience with Lyme at that time. I was really in the depths, like in the deep end of healing, and my doctor, my MD, had recommended that I not get it. Also, I felt that I should not get it, and now this is all coming out, which is really interesting. And so what I feel that's happening here is that this study of Tylenol and autism is coming out. That is, again, waking up the masses. Like, we just had this huge event with Charlie Kirk, and then all these different voices about it started coming out, and like all these different opinions, and this rage, this courage to be disliked, this, people, again, like in 2020, kind of like fighting each other about sides when it was not really about that. And then we have this powerful, I found it to be very powerful speech about forgiveness. And a lot of people, and even when I would like comment a few things, Asan, come here, Asan. When I would comment a few things online about it, there were like sharks about it. Like, you stupid, naive, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was all fake. It was all scripted. The whole speech was horrible and hard to watch. And I'm like, I didn't experience that at all. What I experienced was a widow who just lost the most important person to her in the entire world, choosing to lean into her faith and choose forgiveness. And I thought it was beautiful, and I thought that will change. I really feel that will change the trajectory of our existence, to see someone in that position choosing forgiveness, and then also to see all the shadows that are brought out in people that are feeling this way. And I understand why people feel this way. It's like the same thing that, I experienced with my health, where I was forced to question the truth of everything about health. Like, I couldn't trust anything, like any labels, any food, any doctor, anything, because I was like, everything just seems to always hurt me more and make me more sick. So I understand why people are questioning everything about what just happened with Charlie Kirk. And then what's happening here with this health stuff, like, people are also, pregnant women are downing Tylenol just to prove a point, and say they don't agree with the side, which is like, it's not about that either. But I think that like all this happening is shaking things up, waking people up, and then allowing the truth to come in, because it has to happen this way, is like the best way that I can say it. It has to be shaken up in order to wake up, right? And we saw this in 2020, and I was talking about this for a few weeks. Like, really, the conversation started a few weeks right before the Charlie Kirk thing, where I was really feeling this 2020 kind of thing is going to happen again, where people are shaken and woken up. And so this Tylenol thing, it is getting people to be like, oh my God, whoa, we have been told by our doctors that Tylenol is safe for pregnant women, for children, that we should suppress the fever in our children with Tylenol. And now it's like, no, don't do it, don't take it, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the recommendation. That will start causing people to, start questioning other things, start questioning the vaccine schedules, start questioning, everything else that we're told about our health. Hopefully start questioning the food and all these artificial flavors and like what they really do to us, because so many people choose to stay asleep to the food and the water and the air and everything. And even mold, like I see so many people like just wanting to ignore the fact that like toxic mold is really bad for you, just because they will be told, no, it's fine. It's fine. The artificial food, it's safe. The toxins in the water, they're not an alarm. Like, this is the healthy rate. In Italy and in the States, the mercury level, so the mercury level in Italy, the recommendation, like the safe level, the safe level is, how do I say this, is double the amount in the US of mercury. Like, that's significant. And so that's just one example, but like you guys have probably seen, like when you look at the ingredients of like the same kinds of foods, like I don't know exactly if it's Doritos, but for example Doritos, because they would be sold in both European countries and in the US, there's going to be less ingredients in the European than in the American. But so we're going to have these opportunities now for people to start questioning everything. And in a way, I feel like it's going to, I don't know if I want to call it like a mass psychosis, but it's going to cause chaos. And like people are going to, because what the normal way of survival is like attaching to something. So people are going to look for something to attach to, look for an identity, look for a side. Like, it is so within our DNA and within our existence to want to be a part of something, be a part of a tribe. We wanted to be a part of a tribe in order to survive. Like, back in the day, you had to be a part of a tribe in order to survive. Otherwise, like if you're on your own and like you're out in the snow or whatever, like you would die. And so that's really ingrained in us. So I think that, we have this thing that just happened with Charlie Kirk. We have this thing that's happening with the Tylenol. We have this thing that's happening with the vaccines. And it's now causing people to be like, whoa, are we safe to speak? Are we like speak our mind, use our freedom of speech? Are we safe to say that it's sad when someone dies, even if, they didn't agree with their opinions, the people that are hearing you say that? Is it safe to listen to a doctor's advice? Is it safe to, again, like eat the food that we're recommended to eat? And we can see that this all leads to the new earth, the new timeline. But first, it has to get a little messy. And I think that it was really a beautiful thing to see Erica Kirk say, I forgive the man who assassinated her husband. And because that's what the gospel taught her. And that's, the embodiment of Christ, of God, is love and acceptance and forgiveness. The law of one talks about how forgiveness ends karma. Like, forgiveness is the one thing to end karma. And so if you're trying to break free from all these things in your life, you have to forgive everyone and yourself. And you have to actually forgive and figure out what that means, because it's not like as easy just to be like, I forgive. When you watch her say it, if you're open to it, what I see is she is like surrendering. Like, it was painful for her to say that from what I can see and feel. And she's surrendering, and she's using her faith, like her knowing in the God, that in the oneness, in the love and acceptance in Jesus and in Christ, like whatever you call it, whatever religion, whatever beliefs, she's using that faith and channeling that through forgiveness and surrender and releasing all, the charge to it. And that's how we forgive. I've talked about this quite a few times, but like, there's no actual such thing as forgiveness. Forgiveness is just remembering the truth of who you are, and remembering that we are all one infinite consciousness, and remembering that we come from the same place, and that everything that happens here is an illusion, and it is influenced by contrast and conditioning, and we're all on this journey of remembering the truth of who we are, and we're all having our own experience with the contrast and the programming and trying to figure out how to live a happy, healthy life with that around us and with that within our brain and within our subconscious. And so when you see that, and you see that we're all human and we're all trying to, understand this all and move through this all, and some of us have had different upbringings, and some of us have had different things ingrained in our DNA and in our genetics and different life purposes. Like some people, I feel, some spiritual beings having a human experience have come to Earth to be the experience of polarity so that we can have these moments of like, oh my God, who am I? Because in those moments of polarity, you have to decide, where are you in that? And that doesn't mean you have to pick this side or that side. It means that you can also decide to feel that you don't pick a side, to feel into that love and acceptance that is still available in the polarity. But even that is deciding. That is deciding to remember the truth of who you are and to literally live your life purpose, which is remembering. It is lifting that veil of forgetfulness of what you agreed to experience when you came here. And so I think really, like, this is just the beginning, right? I think that there's going to be a lot more that comes out soon that causes people to question. I really feel that there's going to be some kind of strategy, I want to say, of when this all comes to a place where they start moving in and saying like, we'll take care of you, we'll move you into this one world order, we'll move you here. And to some, maybe that sounds good. For me, I am like really on a journey of freedom and of sovereignty, and I don't feel in resonance with the idea of, I forget who said it, but you will own nothing and you will be happy, like something like that. And that's kind of like the gist of this one world order and these smart cities. I have a family member in Switzerland who is like very much involved in the politics there and saying that it's like kind of all going down in Switzerland where they're passing these things for the one world order to start becoming a thing. And it's kind of like, this was the plan, is the chaos will start coming up. People will be looking for safety. There's probably going to be like an alien invasion soon, and then a cyber attack. Like, no fear. I'm just saying, let's just look at this from a bird's eye, because when you're in fear, then you can be controllable. But maybe an alien invasion, maybe cyber attack, flooding. The flooding is actually crazy. I had a friend come stay on the farm. I met him because he came to volunteer on the farm in Italy, and he was really into this stuff, and he told me a lot of things of what he knows and has studied and feels to be true. He said that flooding is going to be a big part of it, and so he's so funny. But he was traveling with like the tiniest little caravan, and he's like a very tall Dutch man, and it was like the Mary Poppins caravan because he had so many health gadgets in here, but somehow he also had so many gadgets for like the end of the world. And he had like a blow up rubber like boat for when the floods come. And maybe it's not funny, but it's also kind of funny. Like, it was funny at the time. And he's got like all this like rain gear, like this complete like wetsuit to like get by when the flood comes. And like, he was just like super prepared for this. And when we look at this stuff, like, when I asked some people in my life, I was like, how do you feel about weather control? They're like, no, that's conspiracy. They're literally like, there's companies that are operating that you can just look them up and watch interviews of them. Like, their job is to do like cloud seeding and different things like that. And you can watch clouds like go up into the sky, like videos of them putting clouds into the sky. It's like, it's not a new thing. So yeah, it's interesting to think like how much of that is controlled right now, how much of that is like actually Mother Earth being like, I can't take it anymore. There was a storm in Italy a few days ago, and it destroyed a lot. There was a campsite, like a glamping site nearby, and I was going to have my retreat there. Like, I was going to have part of the retreat there, but I ended up going with a different place, and then I ended up having to cancel it. So everyone who was going to attend knows that. But Yeah, so I was going to have it at this place. This storm the other day took out the entire place. It's all gone. There's like $1 million in damage, €1 million, and someone died. A woman was taken away in the river. This bridge that I would walk to every day with Arlo, I have quite a few videos there. I would take Zima too. Our son wasn't born yet. Um, that was that's gone. That completely shattered and fell. Like, I don't know, I guess all the water coming down the mountain and it, like, all the road too. It looks like a meteor hit this area where the farm is. All the animals are safe. Everyone on the farm is safe. The road is like all up, like all the asphalt is up or whatever it is. Which I was just like, I don't understand, but I guess when the water gets under the road, that's what makes it happen like that. So mass destruction. Uh, and I can't help but think, like, wow, this is kind of seeming like it's all happening more than normal. And like, this bridge has been here for how long, and this kind of thing has never happened here. And it's not like it's only happening, like, or only happened that one place in Italy. And so again, like, I share these things not from a place of fear or to invoke fear, but just to open up the mind to like what could be happening here on earth. I feel that if you're here with me right now, you have this really important role of being a light worker on earth and being the lighthouse. I had a client the other day say, which is so sweet, said that I'm like a lighthouse in the stormy sea. So thank you for saying that. That was really sweet. And I've had other people say that, like when I was kind of having a hard time in Italy, there was a lot of contrast going on the farm, and a friend of mine said, like, you're like a lighthouse, and when you're a lighthouse, all these moths and things are going to fly to the light, and they're not going to know what to do with it, and they're going to freak out around it, but they're going to be drawn to it. And that's kind of how I was feeling at that time. And so I feel that that's like the path of the light worker, and that's the path of many of you who are here, is to not be comprehensible, but to hold so much unwavering light while all this chaos is happening, like a lighthouse in a stormy sea. Like, that's such a beautiful image for what's happening right now, because this world, what's happening right now as the shifts are happening in order, like with the divine plan to get us to the new earth, while all this is happening, your one job is to stay in your sovereignty, to hold your light no matter what is happening, and to not feel that you have to pick a side or feel that just because everyone's leaning into fear that you have to become the storm. You're not the storm, you're the lighthouse. And you're very important. Like, you are literally showing people like where to go, how to get out of the storm, how to understand the storm, what's happening in the storm. Like, that's your one job, just to be this light. And people in the world can do whatever they want with that. And that is also your ticket out of this. And I know that it can be sometimes a lonely path. Yeah, I guess I'll use the word lonely. I think I have my own reservations with that word, because I've known loneliness. Like, I guess in the very beginning of this spiritual journey, when I finally like started really realizing, that I'm different, and that I have different thoughts and different ways of seeing the world, and that I'm like, in a way, awake to a lot that's going on, and I'm seeing a lot that's going on in a different perspective, and I'm very sensitive to energies. And when I started like really opening up to that about like 10, 12 years ago, I felt like I couldn't connect with people the same anymore. Like, I was like going through the motions of life and of social gatherings and of all these things, but I no longer like fit in the world that I was in. And at that time, I felt lonely in ways, and I was trying to figure it out. But now, I guess I've built such a self-concept and such a relationship with myself that I can be living in a hay barn. Also, I haven't shown you. Moved the tent here yesterday, and I bought some spray for the tent because it's super moldy. And I know that I've gone through a lot of healing because I'm not afraid of it. I sprayed the whole thing with vinegar, white vinegar, yesterday. I read that that's like what you're supposed to do with the canvas, and then I ordered some canvas mold stuff from a boating company because the tent company would take too long to get here. And so I'll spray that. But a few years ago, I would have burnt it all and just like said goodbye and ran away to another country or something. If you know, like that's kind of how it is with Lyme and mold. But I'm walking through the grassy fields. I'm facing this moldy tent. And I'm realizing, someone asked me in like one of my posts the other day, I put it on here too, but it was on Instagram where the comment was, but about my morning routine here in Ireland. And I was walking through the grassy field, and she said, like, how did you get to this point in Lyme disease, to not have this fear anymore, and the PTSD, because that was like an actual thing that I really had, was the PTSD of Lyme. And I had to think about it, but how I got past that was I started, I don't know, at one point, I guess, in the past few years, I handed over my fear to my inner rebel. Like, she's not going anywhere. So if you understand parts work, there's internal family systems, there's different parts of yourself, many different parts of yourself who all need a voice and who oftentimes are just going to be there for the rest of your life. And it's not about getting rid of them. It's about listening to them, like giving them a voice, and then like saying, we're going to operate this way, but like you're allowed to be here. And so my inner rebel, like, she's there. She's powerful, she's strong, she has a big voice, she's very stubborn. And so I kind of gave this to her, like this fear. I was like, you can have this. And in that, I felt like I kind of alchemized the fear a bit, because I was like, I've gone to hell and back. I've been through dark nights of the soul. Like, I've experienced so much at this point. Like, I'm not going to fear a fucking tick in the field. I was like, if that's what God wants, and this is another part of the experience of not being in fear anymore. I was like, if God wants me to get another tick bite, then that is the divine plan. But I trust the divine plan. I trust my life path. I trust God's will more than anything in this entire world. I trust that I am protected by my divine team, and I let it go. And so, like, in that combination, and then also in nervous system regulation and doing like the brain retraining around it and EFT tapping, and like whenever the trigger would come up, like really working with the nervous system, in that recipe, I got to this place where I feel like very empowered. And there's my inner rebel right now is saying, like, fuck it all. Like, there's a lot of freedom in that. And a lot of people will tell me with this lifestyle, it's not, with no attachment to it, but a lot of people will mirror back to me like, oh my gosh, you're so brave. But I don't feel brave. Like, when you're actually brave, I don't think you feel brave. I think you're just like, you just reach that level of like normalizing it. And that then becomes your normal reality. And so I think as we're moving through this like shift, and you are being that lighthouse as this whole timeline is collapsing, and you're stepping into like your tallest, most brightest lighthouse that you are, it starts to become not so scary and not so like profound and like so like, oh my gosh, I'm this lighthouse, I'm this like big beautiful light in the world and everybody needs me. It's not that. It's not I'm like a courageous lighthouse, I'm a brave lighthouse. It's not that. The reality transurfing talks about how, like, in order to really manifest our desired reality, we shouldn't hold pride. I think also the Bible talks about pride and not being prideful. It's not about being prideful that you're the lighthouse and having so much pride in yourself. Like, I'm proud of being the lighthouse. It's not about that. It's about normalizing. You're like, yes, I am an infinite being. I came to earth to help in this shift. I am a light worker. I am the lighthouse. It is what it is. There's a storm going on. It is what it is. Chaos is happening. It is what it is. Things are falling apart. Things are ending. The cycle of life, the cycle of being reborn, the world being reborn, the little parts of you that are dying and ending right now being reborn. With every ending, there is a new beginning. And every time, like big or small, like someone is visiting you and they leave, when that door closes, that their energy leaves and gets on the plane or drives away, that energy leaves a space for new energy to come in. And it might not necessarily be like new friends coming in. It could be like new client coming in. It could be a new car coming in. It could be a new kitten coming in. As Duchess is sitting here. Can I say hi, Duchess? Hi, Chicky. She's doing a lot better, I think. Her lungs have been really bad recently, but I think she's actually been a lot better the past few days. So, like, I wouldn't be able to hold her like this before without her, like, having a very hard time breathing. Oh, I'm so happy. I think she wants to be here for this. So, there's a lot in this message. And I know that if you're with me right now, it's for a reason. And you stuck around until this moment for a reason, because you're able to see, like, from the higher level that all that's happening right now and be open, okay, to the fact that, you know, it's not about the noise. And your job probably isn't about feeding the noise, reacting to the noise, not responding, but like staying in the hamster wheel of the noise, of the sides, of the anger, of the chaos. It's more about, what does the lighthouse do? The lighthouse is up here, it's shining, so you're up, you're above the noise, you're seeing through the noise, you're shining through the noise, you're allowing the noise to happen. The lighthouse does not try to stop the storm. The lighthouse is just there. It does not try to soothe people in the storm. It does not try to people please in the storm. It does not try to do any of that. It just is. Your job is just to be the light that you are. And that means, like, if we're really trying to make that tangible and, like, how do we apply it? It means being in your authenticity. It doesn't mean you have to go preaching what the light is. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means being in your authenticity. Being in your authenticity means following your joy, following your curiosity, and having a strong self-concept about your worthiness and about, you know, the truth of who you are, and that you're worth the life that you desire. You are worth enjoying the life that you have. And in that, you experience your authenticity and you become that vibration. There is that study, Germany or Russia, I always forget which one, that studied authenticity and found that it is the most expansive frequency. And so when you're in your authenticity, you will expand others. You will be that lighthouse for the world. And this moment right now, it's like, it's crazy that it's actually happening. But this moment right now is why you came to Earth. I mean, you came to Earth for many reasons, but like, this is the shift. Like, this is the shift that all these spiritual people and all these, you know, YouTube channels and everything is talking about, all these books that are talking about. Like, this is the shift. And it's crazy that it's happening right now. And it's a gift that we get to watch it unfold. As heartbreaking as it is, as, you know, as confronting as it is for the highest good of the planet, of humanity, of spiritual beings on their ascension journey. And so thank you for being here, for playing your role in this, for going on these deep dives with me and being open to following your own light and to decoding the patterns and the conditioning that you've experienced yourself, because we've all experienced them. If we're in these human forms, we've all experienced them. And so I honor all the work that you've done. I honor the light that you are and the reason that you're here. So with so much love, I will end it here. If you want to join me in any of my programs, I have, I think 21 Days to Wildly Wealthy could be really good right now, because that works on the wealth wound, the worthiness wound, really. So they're the same thing. Also 21 Days to Rewire Your Mind, or the Decondition library of all of my decondition meditations, or 11 of them from the program Decondition. If you want to go into the program Decondition, I will link that as well. That's a 12-week journey to help you move through all the illusions of the mind, decondition the mind, move through the blocks within the subconscious, and start stepping into your chosen timeline, going deep into like the Akashic records, your inner child work. And it's a really special program. I just got some feedback from it too, from some clients who said that it's like changing their life and that they're not the same person that they were when they started it, which is just like the best thing ever to hear. Because when you're creating courses like this, you never know how it's going to affect people. I get the download and I'm like, okay, I have to make this. I make it, and then to actually see it move through the ripple effect and to get the feedback like that, that's really amazing. So I invite you guys to any of those programs if you'd like to join, and I will see you in the next video.